Hi, my name is Marina. I'm a volunteer at the Old Police House Museum, and today I'm here with Peter, who started working at the Sussex Police in 1986 and is now one of our tour guides at the museum. Today he'll tell us about his work in the police and his favorite story with one of the objects in our collection, a handcuff. So Peter, what's the story you have for us today?
Hi, morning, Marina. Yes, my story. Well, it goes back to quite early in my police career. I joined Sussex Police in 1986 and did all my service in Brighton, actually, which obviously is a pretty lively place and probably the liveliest place in Sussex. I think I was about 4 or 5 years in by the time this incident occurred. So I was a fairly experienced police officer working on patrol in the front line in Brighton. And it was New Year's Eve. It must have been about 1990 or somewhere like that. New Year's Eves are always chaos for us. So many incidents in the evening. We had a job to get to them all, quite frankly, often scuffles and fights and disagreements as well, usually involving alcohol. Anyway, fairly early in the evening, about I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock, so early for New Year's Eve, we were called. I was working on a patrol car, and we were called to a fight in a pub. I think it was called the Counting House. It's not even there anymore. It's on the Lewes Road where the petrol station is now. And when I got there, I was several units went, and I was the first one through the door, and it was like walking into a Wild West movie. There was things flying through the air. There was punches being thrown. The pub had an area where there were several pool tables, and the fight seemed to be centering around that. And as I walked in the door, as the first person in the door, somebody was just about to whack somebody over the head with a big old-fashioned china ashtray, which I grabbed out of his hand. So it really was a bit crazy. Anyway, we piled in, me and several colleagues, and eventually we calmed things down. Several other units came, so there's probably half a dozen PCs there by that time. And we arrested a few people. One of the main protagonists was a big chap who I didn't manage to control on my own, but with a colleague we managed to calm him down, and we were trying to handcuff him. He was leaning. We had him leaning over a pool table, and I was trying to handcuff him behind his back, but he was struggling. Anyway, eventually I did manage to get the handcuffs on, and we got him out the pub together with several other people that were arrested into a van, and they were taken away to the police station because it was a busy night. We went on to deal with numerous other calls around the town that night. As I say, it was always a bit crazy. Anyway, I suppose about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I went back to the police station to deal with the people that I'd arrested during the evening, including this chap. And when I got into the backyard at the police station, there was a fire engine there, which was a bit unusual. I didn't know what was going on. So I went into the police station and went down to the cell block, which used to be in the basement at Brighton Police Station. And there were a couple of fire officers there, and they just cut some handcuffs off a chap. And it turned out to be the chap that I'd arrested, the big chap that I'd arrested. Somehow I got his clothing caught in the handcuffs, and nobody could undo them. Several people tried, and eventually, as I say, the fire brigade were called, and they had to cut them off. And when I got there, they had cut them off, and he had both of his hands in a bucket of cold water because they were quite swollen. So I felt very guilty, and I was teased somewhat by my colleagues, as you can imagine. And needless to say, this chap wasn't very happy either, although I don't think anybody actually revealed to him that it was me that had handcuffed him. I'm not sure if he remembered or not. If he'd have known it was me, I'm sure he'd have been very unhappy with me. Anyway, that's my little story about handcuffs, the moral of which is be careful how you put them on people.
Yeah, that's a great story, Peter. Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
That's a pleasure.